Ah, do I really gotta say it?
No, you
Put
don't
the
have to.
crown back on him. Put the crown back on him. It's Tarek. I gotta pick Tarek Scoville again. I think.
Driving to left. At the wall. It's gone. Tie game.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Throwing Partners Podcast. It's Kirby, Joe, and Nate here coming to you on a Sunday night. Gentlemen, we have made it. We have officially made it through the off season. Opening day, official opening day, is on the horizon. It is currently Sunday. Opening day is Thursday. We'll have a couple exhibition games this week. We'll have Wednesday off, and then Thursday is when the madness starts. And let me tell you guys, I could not be more excited. So tonight we are actually going to give our award predictions for the 2025 season. I'm really excited to do this. This is one of my favorite shows that we do all year long, just to see how we think that the awards are going to play out. So would we like to start with maybe Rookie of the Year for each league, and then we'll just kind of move on up from there? Does that work for y'all?
Yeah, that works for me.
All right,
Good for me.
let's do Rookie of the Year because honestly, Rookie of the Year is always kind of a crapshoot. There's no real science behind it, really. It's a lot of times it's just who makes the opening day roster and doesn't get sent down after the first 2 weeks. So I would love to hear y'all's thoughts on who you think maybe the AL Rookie of the Year is going to be, or maybe the NL Rookie of the Year is going to be.
Well, I don't know too much about any top prospect. I'm gonna keep it 100. I know one top prospect that might make an opening day roster based off of the news we got today. My rookie of the year pick is going to be a hometown pick. It is going to be Cam Smith. The dude crushes baseballs. He has such a pure swing. It's in with all the home runs he's hit this spring training, he's hit 4. And he's batting like 386 on the spring. But with every home run that he's hit, they've all been to either dead center or right field, and that's a good sign for any prospect in development facing spring training pitching, because that means that they're not too pull happy and they've got a nice pure swing that works for all fields. So just seeing that and knowing that it has the potential to translate, in an actual game against major league pitching, based off of what he's done against the major league pitching that he has seen this spring. I'm going with him. Now he will be playing a position that he is he is not accustomed to in right field. But the dude's an athlete. He grew up playing third and short. So he's an athlete, and I have full confidence that he will be able to adapt and adjust over time. And he's got the makeup of a guy that is going to be an absolute stud. Chandler Rome, he has his own podcast. He's the beat writer for the Astros with The Athletic, and he was talking about how Mauricio Dubon in the locker room was saying that Cam Smith one day is going to hit 60 home runs, and I can see it because the dude is an absolute machine. He will get in there and he will grind day after day, according to Coach Omar Lopez. He's a stud, and I have full confidence that his game will translate to the majors. So I'm picking Cam Smith. I see a couple names out there like Jackson Jobe, which is Nathan over there. I'm pretty sure that's who his pick is going to be. So Nathan, let's hear more about Jackson Jobe.
Oh wow, is it that easy to read? I mean, come on. Yeah, let's hear it. Yeah, I think for me, and again, might be a biased pick, like Joe's biased pick, but I think it's going to be Joby. I think Jackson Jobe now is going to be our top candidate for Rookie of the Year. And they confirmed today that he's going to be our 5 spot on our rotation. So I'm looking forward to seeing that throughout the year. In spring training, got beat up a little bit. In the 4 games, he gave up 4 homers. But outside of that, in 12 innings, he only gave up 7 runs. He gave up a couple of walks. He ended up finishing spring training with a .892 whip. So while he is a little homer happy, I'm going to give that maybe a little bit to the nerves, a little bit to testing out how certain pitches go. Because like we've seen earlier in the year, he added a new pitch to his rotation. or to his arsenal. Sorry. So I think once he gets a hang of that and starts getting in the groove in the 5 spot or the 4 spot, wherever AJ Hinch decides to put him in our rotation, I think he's gonna benefit from being around Tarek Skubal and Jack Flaherty, and I think at the end of the year we're going to be seeing him taking home that Rookie of the Year.
Well, gentlemen, I think that both of these picks are great picks. Cam Smith. Let me just say this, Joe. We have seen several prospects come through the Astros organization. Obviously, we saw George Springer. We saw Carlos Correa. We saw Alex Bregman, Kyle Tucker, all of these different guys, right? Cam Smith, in my opinion, looks more athletic than any of those 4 guys have ever looked in their entire career. He is big, he is built, and he is athletic looking. Like Springer was athletic looking, but he was kind of goofy looking too. Correa was always thinner. Cam Smith is tall and he's built. I mean, he literally kind of looks like Giancarlo Stanton, but obviously more athletic. So I think your pick is great, but I'm actually going with Nathan for the sheer fact that I think that Jackson Jobe is actually going to get to play and pitch every 5th or maybe every 6th day in that Tigers rotation. Now, I will say this. I was kind of debating on this as well because I actually feel that somebody like Jacob Wilson could possibly win this award because he's going to get the chance to play every day. And like we've seen in the past, guys who get the chance to play every day typically have a better shot to win the Rookie of the Year. So I'm going with Jackson Jobe taking home the hardware. I think he's probably going to – I can see him throwing 100 to maybe 130 innings this year. And if he's topping out at 98 to 100 consistently and throwing strikes and getting outs, he's not going to lose that spot for one thing, but he's going to rack up some votes for the AL Rookie of the Year. And then with Jacob Wilson as well, I mean, if he gets the chance to play every day, as awkward as he looks at the plate, that guy has some serious pop in that bat right now. So I can easily see him getting some votes as well. But like I said, I'm going with Jackson Jobe. Now, moving over to the National League side is a little bit of a different story. I personally have Dylan Cruz for the Washington Nationals. Cruz is going to get the opportunity to play every day. He is a 5-tool player. He runs well. He hits for power. He hits for average. He's got a great arm. He does a lot of things extremely well. I didn't really have anybody else in mind except for Dylan Cruz. Some people think Sasaki, obviously. From what we saw with Sasaki the other day, in my opinion, guys, I think he has too much reliever risk. He's got some real serious control issues. He's never really thrown that many innings in a season to begin with. I can honestly see him being like the Dodgers' long man this year until he figures out how to throw strikes consistently. So I don't think it's going to be Sasaki. Maybe a hot take. So I'm going with Dylan Cruz. What say you guys? What do you think?
I'm probably just gonna go with the safe pick and say Sasaki. We already kind of saw what he can bring to the table against the Dodgers. MLB was hyping them up on their Twitter while the game was going on, and I mean, if he can just figure out the control and get that command down, and spot up his pitches, I think he'll be just fine. He's so young that the innings don't concern me. I think that the younger you are, the better you are to be able to handle that kind of inning load. Now I know that he's going to have to, know how to adjust to that, load manage that load as the season progresses. But the Dodgers have, they've got the staff, the training staff to manage that for him, to help him along the way. So I'm going to go with Sasaki as the safe pick. It probably won't be him, but I'm just going to say it's him.
He also.
I like your pick with Dylan Cruz, though. He's going to be a monster.
Well, he also is kind of a safe bet because he's going to get a lot of attention this year. Just as Skeens got a lot of attention just because he was Paul Skeens, Sasaki will get a lot of attention just because he's on the Dodgers. Dylan Cruz is probably not going to get much media attention at all unless he just goes off, which is very possible. I mean, he's very talented, so we'll see. Nathan, what about you, bud?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick here with Joe's theme. I think it's gonna be Sasaki as well. I think you guys do bring up some good points with the load management and some of his control issues that he had so far. But I think one thing that we're leaving out here is this guy has already been a pro. He's been a pro for several years already, and playing in the MPP is comparable to whatever level playing here, double A, triple A, whatever. However they want to say it. Either way you take it, this guy's a pro. He's sitting there with one of the best pitching staffs out there in the league. I don't think it's going to be much of an issue. I think they're going to let him get some time and tweak some things, and he'll be back around to have a solid season this year. So that's going to be my safe pick too. Is Roki Sasaki.
All right. Well, speaking of pitching, let's go ahead and move on to our Cy Young Award winners for the year. I just mentioned Skeens a little bit ago, and to be honest with you, that's who I'm picking for the National League. I don't know that there. I don't know that I can give a better argument for anybody than Skeens. If Skeens would have had probably 3 to 4 more starts last year, he probably won the Cy. He would have won the Cy Young Award last year, probably unanimously. Obviously, I love Chris Sale. I don't think it's going to be him. Strider is probably not going to make enough starts. The only other guys I could probably make a case for would be maybe Zach Wheeler. But I just think that Skeens is going to have he's just going to have more juice, and I think it's going to be Skeens. Now, if I had to pick somebody as a dark horse for that, I would actually pick Mr. Schwellenbach over Sale and Strider. We just saw Schwellenbach the other day go 6 and strike out 10 against the Yankees, which was very impressive as a spring training start. Only giving up 2 hits, too, by the way. Other than that, I think it's Skeens, and I think that most writers would probably agree that it is going to be Skeens. If this guy gives you 28, 30, 32 starts this year and stays healthy, I think you can go ahead and bet on Skeens being your NL Cy Young Award winner. What do you guys think?
Well, I don't think you're wrong. I think Skeens is the safe pick. I mean, yeah, like you said, he probably would have won the Cy Young last year if he had made like 2 or 3 more starts. So I can't disagree with you. I mean, he was a rookie pitcher that started in the All-Star game, not even being on the opening day roster for the Pirates. That just goes to show how insane he was last year. Um, but I have an interesting, second pick, and I think that it could potentially be Corbin Burns in Arizona. Now, I know that Corbin is going to be playing in a very tough division, having to face the Dodgers and the Padres 13 times each. But he also played in a very competitive division last year with the Rays, Blue Jays, Red Sox, and then Yankees. On the Orioles. So he's used to facing that kind of competition. Obviously the Yankees went to the World Series last year and he didn't have a problem. So I think that Corbin Burns could be a pretty good pick for the NL Cy Young as well.
Well, I think that's an interesting pick, Joe, because something that a lot of people don't realize is the Brent Strom effect. When Brent Strom is your pitching coach, you just seem to get better. And there's a very good chance that Burns could be even better this year, just having Stromy as the pitching coach. So I think that's a great pick. Nathan, what do you think?
Listen, Kirby, I think you and me are going to agree on a lot of things in this episode. I'm sticking with Paul Skeens. I mean, when you look at it, and you, out of all the players who received a vote last year for the National League Cy Young, and you beat them all out in Ks per innings, a WHIP, and ERA, and you pitched 10 games less than them, I don't know how you can't expect it. This guy is one of the best pitchers that we've seen ever, I'll say. And I know we were hyping Ohtani up about that when he was doing both at the same time, on top of being like the best player we've ever seen. But this guy is the best pitcher we might ever see. I mean, he was ready to pitch the second that he got drafted to the Pirates. He was ready to pitch the second he came off of that team in Baton Rouge. So I don't understand how you pick anybody besides this guy to take Cy Young.
I think it's interesting that you say this because I was in high school when Steven Strasburg made his first career start. And Steven Strasburg was very much hyped just like Paul Skeens. And let me tell you something.
It's
Strasburg's
true.
very first start had a Hall of Fame catcher behind the plate in Pudge Rodriguez, for those of you who may not remember. Strasburg threw 7 innings that night, and I think he had 14 Ks. Maybe 12, but I think it was 14. 14 sounds better. Um, and everybody thought that Strasburg was going to be the next, 3,000 K guy. He was going to be, a 300 win guy, blah, 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 blah. Obviously, that didn't work out for him. But Skeens is just as hyped as Strasburg. But after watching Skeens in 20 starts last year or whatever it was, Skeens is much better than Strasburg ever was. His stuff is that much better than Strasburg's ever was. And I think that Skeens has the makeup where he is actually going to be able to be healthy throughout his career. Garrett Cole obviously has signed, the biggest contract for a pitcher ever. But I wouldn't be surprised if, within the next couple years, if the Pirates don't trade Skeens and then Skeens ends up with the largest pitcher contract. Like, I think it's very possible that we see that for him. So I got no doubt that it's going to be Skeens if he's healthy. Now, moving on to the American League is a little bit of a different story because I think that the American League probably has more candidates. You've got a Mariners rotation that's stacked. You've got a couple guys on the Astros that are very talented. You've got some guys in the AL Central that are very talented. Obviously, then you got the AL East as well. I'm actually going to go. I'm going to go with a repeat here. I'm going to go with Scooble. It doesn't happen very often. We don't see these kind of things. But there's no reason to think that Scooble can't do it again. And not to be a jerk or anything, but Scooble also plays the AL Central. Not a great division overall. He's going to get to face the White Sox probably 2 or 3 times at least. So there's at least 3 quality starts right there. So I'm going to go Scooble. But Joe, I'm going to mention a name to you that I actually think is going to elevate his game to ace status this year. And you may be thinking the same thing, and it's Hunter Brown. I don't know if Hunter Brown gets to the, a Cy Young finalist this year, but he is my dark horse pick. We saw him take great strides last year and really solidifying himself, for one, in the rotation, and 2, as a potential playoff starter. And I think this year, Joe, I think at the end of the season, when the Astros make the postseason, because I think they will, I think you see Hunter Brown take the ball game 1. So that's kind of who I'm seeing right now for the AL Cy Young picture. What do you guys think?
Well, I can't disagree with you. I do have to go with Scoople again. I think that he's just that good. He reminds me a lot of, Framber Valdez, just, in the tough lefty to face aspect that was getting Cy Young votes, but not like 3 years ago. I think that Fromber could also, potentially compete for the Cy Young, but he's yeah, I mean, it just depends on what kind of Fromber we get this year. But I think that Garrett Crochet is also set up really well to compete for a Cy Young, and then Cole Reagans. Cole Reagans absolutely dominated with Kansas City last year. He's not the sexy name because he plays in the AL Central and he's with Kansas City. But I think that Cole Reagans could go out there and win a Cy Young this year if he pitches the way that he did last year. And I don't disagree with you. I was actually going to mention Hunter Brown as a dark horse before you said it, so I'm glad that I'm not the only crazy one thinking it. He had an incredible second half last year. Adding that 2-seam sinker, to his arsenal really helped him out in getting ground balls. And I was very impressed with the way that he was able to cap off his 2024 season. And I'm hoping that he can repeat, not only repeat, but progress this year to the ace status that you were talking about, because the Astros are going to need it since they will most likely not be going after Framber Valdez in free agency after not offering him an extension during the spring. So I will be very interested in watching Hunter Brown over the next couple months, and I'm hoping that I see some more growth in him. He did start yesterday, and he struggled mightily with his command, but they were mentioning that it was the first time pitching against major league hitters in 11 days. So I think that he was just a little amped up, hoping that, on opening, or not opening day, but that second start, or that second game, first start against the Mets, he's able to calm his nerves with the atmosphere and, be able to be effective against a very tough Mets lineup to start off the season.
Nathan, what do you think?
Do I really gotta say it? Put the crown back on him. Put the crown back on him. It's Tarek. I gotta pick Tarek Skubal again. I think in the first half, the Cy Young race was very close. I think Houck, I think Reagans, I think Lugo, I think all those guys were very, very close with Skubal and the way their performances were going. But down the line and into the playoffs, I don't think any of those other guys had the same kind of performances that he did. He was shut down, and up until that infamous grand slam, nobody in the league was touching him.
Nope.
And then, the one time that they really needed him, he just missed, had the worst misfortune and threw a bad pitch. Can't do anything about it. I will touch on some of the other guys that you've mentioned. I think Crochet has a really good chance being in a new spot where he's actually in an opportunity to win games. I think Lugo, I think Reagans, those guys are still going to be hammering hard on the mound. On the West, man, I don't know really. Some of the Mariners guys, they'll be there. Gilbert will be there for sure. He's incredible. I do like Hunter Brown, and what I will say is I was able to see Hunter Brown pitch twice last year. Unfortunately, both against the Tigers, and he tore us up. And the other ironic thing is he's a Michigan native, a Detroit native, and he still tore us up. So I'm almost completely inclined to agree with you guys that Hunter Brown he's lined up to be there too. He's got good stuff. He had good ground out performances pretty much at both the times they played the Tigers. All they were doing was putting the ball on the ground, and he looked really good. So I'm going to keep it with Skubal, but Hunter Brown, I do like that as a dark horse.
All right. Well, speaking of the AL Central, I guess all of the AL awards, in my opinion, are going to come from that division this year. Because my AL MVP pick is, of no surprise, it's Bobby Witt Jr. I don't know how anybody doesn't pick Bobby Witt Jr. He has gotten better every single year he's been in the big leagues. I think he's on pace, or I think he's on track to probably have a 7+ WAR season easily. If this dude stays healthy, I mean, he is. I remember, I sound old saying all this. I remember crap. But let me just say, I remember how good A-Rod was in the 90s,
You are old.
2000s. And let me tell you something. Bobby Witt Jr. is just A-Rod, but remade over. A-Rod was fast. He hit for power. He played a great shortstop. He did everything well. Bobby Witt Jr. also does everything well. Now, obviously, I do believe that Bobby Witt Jr. has a much better character than A-Rod ever did. So I'm a huge fan, and I think the award this year is his to lose. Obviously, a lot of people have picked Judge. A lot of people have picked this or that person, but I'm going Bobby Witt Jr. I don't know about y'all. What do y'all think?
Well, I think it's ironic that we always talk crap about the AL Central, but right now we have every award going to someone in the AL Central, and I have someone in the AL Central winning the award. I think it's long overdue that they win the award. It's not Bobby Witt Jr. It's Jose Ramirez.
Oh yes.
He is the most underrated player in baseball. He plays both sides of the ball very well. The only knock on him you could probably have is that he probably doesn't run as well as Bobby Witt Jr. does, but he is still a fantastic player on both sides of the ball. He gets no love from the national media. I mean, he does, but it's not the kind of love that someone of his caliber really truly deserves, because that dude is a beast. He has held it down for the Guardians year after year. He's part of the reason why they are consistently in the postseason out of the Central, and even making things exciting in the slightest for a team in the AL Central. So I have Jose Ramirez finally getting his flowers and winning the AL MVP this year. I think Bobby Witt Jr. is a great pick. I do, and it probably will be him, but I'm gonna go with Jose Ramirez.
Nothing would make me happier than to see Jose Ramirez come home with an MVP. If I had to pick my top 3 favorite players in baseball right now, he is in the top 3, and he ain't 3, and he probably ain't 2 either. So I would love for him to win that award. Also, too, he's probably within about 3 really more solid seasons of being in the Hall of Fame. So that capping off his career with an MVP, what I think would solidify his chances of getting in. Nathan, what about you?
So yeah, I'll speak on Jose Ramirez a little bit. Being a Tigers fan and then being a division rival, I have a love-hate relationship with this guy. I mean, you can't hate that he is so good at baseball. I mean, like I was having a conversation yesterday with one of my other buddies. This guy has probably been the most consistently good third baseman in baseball the last 10 years. I won't say he's been the best over the last 10 years, but I will say he's the most consistent because there's been years where Machado's been really good. There's been years where Arenado's really good, Chapman, a bunch of other good names who've had incredible seasons with the bat on top of having incredible seasons with the ball or on the with the glove. Sorry. And honestly, last year we can't even knock him for being slower than Bobby Witt. He was right there to have a 40-40 season. I think he missed it out by 1 stolen base. So he's old, but he's still got the wheels, really. And yeah, Bobby Witt. Kirby, you make a very good comparison there being to A-Rod. I think I want to make a different comparison to someone a little bit more of mine and Joe's age. Sorry, Kirby, you're old.
That's fine.
I say Mike Trout. I remember vividly that they had done a swing comparison, and after they had both came to their loading phase, they have the same exact swing path. And ever since that time, it's been stuck in my head that he's kind of Mike Trout-esque. Granted, they play different positions, but honestly, he had the Mike Trout character arc that just panned out correctly. Because he's over there, he's the leader of the team, he's young, he's carrying them on his back, and the rest of the team is just responding. Now, granted, the Angels had the 1 year where they made the playoffs with Pujols, and Mike Trout did nothing. But Bobby Witt, his team, he's finally here with a team that could do something. Now, whether or not they continue to do something, I don't know. Maybe then we start having an Angels type of arc, and then he's really Mike Trout. But my pick, and although I really like Jose Ramirez, and I think I would like to see him get his flowers too, I'm staying with Bobby Witt. I think he's way too good to not snatch it up this year. I think Judge, yeah, he might hit a crap ton of homers, but I don't know. He's not particularly good at doing anything else. He doesn't hit for average. He strikes out a ton. His glove is questionable now, even though he won a Gold Glove. But yeah, I'm sticking with Bobby Witt.
You know, speaking of Jose Ramirez, I had to go to his baseball reference page. Did you know that he has finished in the top 10 of MVP voting 7 years? So if you're looking at the 7-year career arc, he's got it. And then he also has he finished 17th in the MVP in 2016, the year that they went to the World Series. So there's really not a whole lot else he has to do. I mean, once again, I would just love to see him win an MVP. He is a fantastic baseball player, guys. He's so consistent. He doesn't strike out in this day and age, which is rare. And even though he doesn't strike out a lot, he also doesn't ground into a lot of double plays, which is also very rare. Because typically, if you don't strike out nowadays, you ground into a lot of double plays. Well, he does neither of those. And he also takes his fair amount of walks. Now, his walks could be better, but he hits for power. He hits for a good average. He steals a ton of bases. He hits a ton of doubles. He does so many things well. And the thing is if within 2 or 3 years, if he's not really fit to play third anymore, they can slide him over to second very easily because he's got a great glove, and he's still going to have a decent arm. So he's going to have a place to play for the next 3 to 4 to 5 years at least.
Yeah, totally agree.
So anyway,
Well, I said that Jose Ramirez can't run, and Nathan said Aaron Judge doesn't hit for average, and I just want to say that we are not casuals, I swear, because as Nathan mentioned, he stole 41 bags last year, and Aaron Judge hit. It was like let's see, what did Aaron Judge hit last year? Aaron Judge hit 322 last year, so
Oh
I think we were
wow.
both wrong on that analysis.
well, the thing is though is you don't have to be fast to steal bases. We all know that. And Jose is in sprint speed terms, he is not like elite speed by any means. But he's very quick. And he's smart. I mean, you've got to be a smart base runner. If Yasmani Grandal is back there, everybody's running on that dude. If Cal Raleigh's back there, nobody's running on that guy. So you just have to be smart about how you're stealing the bags. Ronald Acuna Jr. stole 73 one year, and he by no means had elite speed. So just throwing that out there. So you may be fleet of foot, but you're not elite speed by any means. That's Bobby Wood Jr., that's Trey Turner, that's Corbin Carroll, that's those kind of guys. Now moving on to the National League. I'm going to go with somebody that does have elite speed, who does hit for a high average, who does hit a lot of home runs. And did I mention that he also is probably going to pitch this year? Y'all know who I'm talking about. I'm going with Ohtani. You can disagree with me, but I'm going with Ohtani. Dude had a 9B WAR season last year, just being a DH. If he's healthy, once again, if he's healthy, this dude is going to repeat. I have no doubts about it. What do you guys think?
I mean, I don't disagree with the Ohtani pick. I do disagree with you saying that he will pitch this year. I'm a little worried about his prospects of pitching this year. I mean, we can go back to last season. He was gearing up to face batters, and I don't think that he's done that yet. Still, this spring. So, I don't know if he had a setback, or what the timeline on him actually returning to the mound is. But I'm a little worried that this year again is just a wash for him pitching, and then what the outlook for him pitching the rest of his career looks like after that, because he's only getting older. So I mean, he can go out and win another MVP as a DH. I have no doubt about that. But the idea of him pitching sometime this year kind of seems a little far fetched to me. But like I said, I think that he can win it as a DH regardless. Now, one person that I do think could win the NL MVP, will be making his debut against the Astros at Minute Maid on Thursday, is Juan Soto.
Yeah,
I think that he absolutely has the chance to win an MVP. Again, playing in New York. I'm even going to throw out someone like Francisco Lindor, who could absolutely win an MVP as well. But if if Ohtani is just limited to DHing, I think that opens up the floodgates to a plethora of different players like Juan Soto, like Fernando Tatis, like Corbin Carroll, like Francisco Lindor. Not saying that Ohtani is one-dimensional at all if he's a DH, because he is still a unicorn, hitting the baseball and on the base paths, but it's just those other guys are going to have other things contributing, like defense for Lindor, along with his bat. Juan Soto is just a freak of nature at the plate as well. So he did win a Gold Glove somehow. I know his defense isn't great, but he won a Gold Glove. So maybe he has another decent defensive year that adds to his WAR, and that's taken into consideration. I think that if Ohtani's not pitching, then the door's kind of open for any of those guys I just mentioned.
Nathan, what are your thoughts?
Ohtani, he might not pitch this year, but I think either way, this guy, as long as he's alive and breathing every day, there's no chance this guy's not winning the MVP. Let's see. What what can't we say about Shohei Ohtani? All right, he had 54 homers last year. Honestly, that already makes him an anomaly. He stole 59 bags last year. Let's be honest, that also makes him an anomaly. He did it the same time in the same season and recorded a 50-50 season. He made history in the season. And this is still not the first time he's made history in his career. I don't know how we don't see this guy pull in his 4th MVP. He is Paul Skeens, the best pitcher we might ever see in our lifetimes. Shohei Ohtani, best player that we will ever see in our lifetimes. And we were talking so highly about Mike Trout. I think this guy does what Trout does above and beyond, really, except for the fielding part. So I think Shohei Ohtani is reeling in his 4th one this year.
I agree. I think it's interesting what you said about him pitching, Joe. And I have this thought in my mind right now. Something that we talked about last week was that the Dodgers themselves are not exactly a young team when it comes to their positional players. So we already know right now that Mookie Betts is not playing. He's got some kind of illness. He hasn't played in a couple of weeks. Apparently he lost 15 pounds, which he wasn't heavy to begin with. So I'm very concerned about Mookie for that. That's another one of my favorite players to watch play, and I'm concerned for him. I hope that he's going to be okay and have a healthy season. But I actually wonder, with the issues that they have with position players sometimes, if they are choosing to intentionally just use Ohtani as a hitter, because currently they actually have enough pitching. They've got like 4 aces in their rotation between Yamamoto and Glasnow, and now Sasaki and Blake Snell.
No.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. To me, it's right now, it's like, okay, we've got plenty of pitching, but our position players are a little lacking, and we really need Ohtani to hit. We really need him to get on base. We need him to hit dingers. We need him to be healthy. So at the moment, they don't really need him to pitch. Now, I think if they see a couple guys go down, maybe they ramp that up a little bit with him. Because overall, like you said, we haven't heard anything about him pitching at all. But I think they actually truly just need him to stay healthy for the offensive production that he brings to their lineup. And until they actually need an arm, which don't be surprised if they go get another starter at the deadline, I think that they don't really use him. I don't think they really need him to pitch, because so far their rotation looks great and they seem healthy. I am glad that you mentioned one more name. I don't know if it was Nathan or Joe. I don't remember. But Corbin Carroll. If anybody has looked at his spring stats have been very eye-popping. He's got a 1,200 OPS. He's got 4 home runs. He obviously has elite speed. He's probably going to give you okay defense. He's not a Gold Glover by any means, but obviously he does run well out there. So if Corbin Carroll comes out of the gate just like he did in 2023, at the beginning of that year, and he comes out and gives you, a 30-30 season, which he's very capable of. And if Ohtani goes down, or maybe he's got an IL stint here or there, I mean, I could easily see Corbin Carroll being in the hunt for that, especially if he comes out of the gate hot. So I'm glad that y'all mentioned that one, because I've been impressed watching him this spring. He looks great and he looks healthy. Any other award talk that we want to discuss tonight before we end the show? Or any updates? Is anybody going to opening day?
I will not be going to opening day, as I am continuing to boycott the Astros for not extending Kyle Tucker and then letting Bregman walk. I am going to hold true to that. Unfortunately, although I am now getting the jitters wanting to go to a game. I was wondering if it counted if it was the exhibition game against the Space Cowboys, and I think I came to the conclusion in my mind that it would count. So I will not be going to one of those either, even though I really want to go see Cam Smith play, potentially fight for a roster spot. So no, I will not be going to opening day. I won't be going to any games because once again, I will not be paying Jim Crane any money unless it's maybe for the new the jersey that came out. Uh, Speaking of that, the Astros finally revealed their new City Connect jersey. This is their old City Connect jersey. Their new one is now white, and it kind of pays homage to the mid '90s star that the Astros used as their logo back then, and it's got Stros written across the chest. It is a very clean look. The hat is very clean. I like the white, front, and then the blue back, and the star looks really good. It also kind of incorporates the prototype logo slightly that the Astros had, and that's one of my favorite logos. I wish that they would put out a uniform that has that prototype logo somewhere out there. So I think the City Connects are on par with the ones that we got previously. I do like the fact that they are not all blue because the last ones, while I liked the top as blue, the bottoms were kind of a bit much in that regard. Now, I know you, Kirby, have a different opinion on them, so I think we should hear that.
Okay, so let me just say this. There are a couple things that I like about the uniform. I love the socks. The socks are clean. Those are very sharp. I like the sleeves, like the end of the sleeves with the blue and the orange. I really like those. But you guys know me. I'm just not a huge fan of white jerseys. I'm not a fan of gray jerseys. I want to see jerseys that have color. So I love like the blue, the orange, the rainbow, the tequila sunrise, whatever you want to call it. I would have loved to have seen more color on the jersey. So I think it's okay. I need to see it in person. I need to go to the team store and look. I actually saw one at the rodeo yesterday. It was okay. It didn't really look that great. It actually kind of looked fake, to be honest. It didn't look like a real one. But it didn't look. That's what I'm saying. It looked like a DH Gate one. So I'm gonna have to go to the team store and take a look for myself. But like I said, there's a couple things I like. I actually like the hat. And obviously I've always called the Astros the Stros, just like many Houstonians. So I think that was kind of a cool touch. But like I said, I'm just not a huge fan of white jerseys. I would have loved for them to have had some kind of color in it, whether it be orange or this or that. It just not a white jersey. I hate white jerseys. Other than that, there's not a lot of news from the league. There is another team that debuted their City Connects today, and that would be the Washington Nationals. I personally like it because, once again, it is a jersey of color. It is blue with like the city grid on it, and it says DC on the chest. I think those look pretty clean. Also, too, for the sheer fact that they did not use the same colored pants as they did the top, which I really appreciate. I don't like jerseys that do that personally. I like some separation. But overall, I like those a lot. I know that Joe was not very fond of it. Nathan, I don't know about you, what you think. But I kind of like it. What do you think, Nathan?
Listen, I was kind of mixed about their first City Connects. I do like them. I like the whole idea of the cherry blossoms. It was a nice touch. I think I agree with you. I think having the blue and the now they just have the pink touch on the sleeves and the city grid. I think perfect detail. I think this is in a jersey that maybe they did not really need to try to improve. They did a great improvement on, and the DC, the lettering of the logo and the design of it, I think is great. The District of Columbia patch on the sleeve, I think looks awesome. And honestly, you're right. Having white colored pants with the blue piping down the side, I think it matches the uniform perfectly. I think it just tops it off. I think it makes it all look perfect.
Can we go back to something very quickly? Because I just saw a tweet or a post, whatever you want to call it, on X about Betts. So Betts was listed at 5'10" and 180 pounds. So he's probably 5'9" and about $175, right? Apparently, Bet said that he is down to 157 pounds now, and he hasn't been able to hold down food since before the Tokyo trip. That is extremely concerning to me. He's down like probably close to 20 pounds now.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't know. I hope that Betts is okay. He is one of my favorite guys. He is a great ambassador for our game as well. So I hope and I pray that he's going to be okay and that they're able to figure out what is going on with this dude, because that's scary stuff right there. So I just wanted to share that. And just know that Mookie's in our thoughts and in our prayers for sure.
Yeah, I'm hoping for a speedy recovery to fellow podcaster Mookie Betts.
That's
Hoping
right.
for
That's
the
right.
best.
Fellow podcaster. That's right. All right, gentlemen. Is there anything else that you'd like to discuss tonight? We've had a great 2025 superlative preview podcast tonight.
Is there anything we would like to discuss? We've officially had baseball. Regular season baseball has been played. Are we not going to talk about the Tokyo series? Come on.
Okay. All right.
Come on now.
Okay. Let me just say this. I didn't get up early for it because I was on break this week. Okay. But it was very nice when I got up at like 6:30, 7 o'clock to turn on my TV and see a real, meaningful, this game counts type baseball game. So that was really nice. I hate the wintertime. I hate the cold. I don't like when my bones hurt. That's what happens when you get old, fellas. Just heads up. So for it to be springtime and for it to be warm and for me to feel the sunshine on my skin, oh my God, I am so happy that baseball season is here. It's not going to be cold anymore, thankfully. And I'm so happy, guys. I was so awesome to turn on the TV and see that. Shota Imanaga had a really good showing there. He was my Rookie of the Year pick last year. He did not win, but he got very close. You saw Shohei hit a home run there that really wasn't a home run, by the way. That should have been brought back. But that for everything for everything MLB related, they didn't even bother to take a real look at it. They're like, no, it's a home run. Shohei hit that. It is a home run. And then obviously you saw Sasaki pitch. He had 5 walks. His control was terrible. And besides that, there just wasn't a whole lot of exciting things that happened. Apparently, 25 million people in Japan watched it, which is impressive. So shout out to the Japanese. They love, they support, and they watch baseball. A life goal of mine is to go to Japan and watch baseball. I want to go to Japan and watch baseball. I want to go to Puerto Rico and watch baseball. And if the DR was safe, I'd probably want to go there and watch baseball as well. So for sure, Japan and Puerto Rico. Maybe not the DR, but those two for sure. Do y'all have any thoughts on the Tokyo series?
Well, I think the viewership was so high, especially for that first game, because we witnessed MLB history with Shota Imanaga and Yoshinobu Yamamoto being the first all Japanese starting pitching matchup on opening day in MLB history. So obviously, it was a great day for the country of Japan. Both pitchers threw pretty well. Yamamoto had 5 scoreless innings, I believe, or 5 strong innings, and then Imanaga, I believe, had 4 scoreless innings. So I think both pitched very well. I will say the Cubs absolutely failed their first real test. But the Dodgers are the defending World Series champions, and they only got better over the offseason. So their quest to repeat has begun, and they're officially on pace to go 162-0. So it only goes down from here, boys. So it's just, it is what it is. I mean, the Dodgers are the Dodgers. They're going to continue to steamroll, but it was great for baseball to be exposing themselves to a different environment and getting and growing viewership. I wish that back here in the States we had that same support for the game that we love, because we don't get that anymore. So
I mean, I'm all a part of the group that believes that opening day should be a national holiday. What better day? It's springtime. What better day than for dads to be able to take off work that day or to have off work that day and be able to take their kids to the ball game? You know, there would be no school, so kids wouldn't miss school because of opening day, which I know that I know some people that are going to take their kids to opening day. Um, I'm not going to opening day. I've got a giant event that day. But let me just say, opening day should be a national holiday. That's all there is to it. Thursday the 27th should just be a national holiday, and I think everybody would be happy with that. To have one more day off in the year where we can just celebrate something fun, we can celebrate springtime, and we can celebrate America's pastime being back for the next 6 months. Nathan, what do you think?
I'd like to make a comment about your take on the Otani home run. Just real quick. Yeah, I don't think we want to raise tensions with the Japanese. I think we have seen what happened with that before. So I'll just leave it there. I'll talk briefly about the Tokyo series real quick. I think Cubs ran into the buzzsaw, to be honest. And I'm scared because on Thursday, I think the Tigers are going to run into the buzzsaw.
Yeah, sorry.
So I think that's just gonna recap everything I want to say about that. Opening day, I agree. I think it'd be hard to convince everybody to agree that opening day should be a holiday. For me, it's always special. I always think about opening day for every season of baseball, youth, MLB, college, everything. It always holds something near and dear to my heart. Just the vibes, being able to be on a diamond again with your friends, being able to be outside and play something, because growing up in the Midwest is always freezing cold, and then when it comes around time to play baseball, we're finally having outdoor practices. We're getting 50, 60-degree days, and we're outside on the field, on the varsity field playing. So I think opening days for every level of baseball should be a holiday, but it would be hard to convince everybody to allow that.
We just need a president, guys, who is a diehard baseball fan. I think, within 12 to...
We had one.
Yes, we did. Within 12 to 16 years, maybe I'll just run, and maybe that'll be an executive order for me. That's like the day one thing. Okay. Or at least in the first 90 days. We're going to have to get, opening day as a national holiday. Anyway, I think that we have talked about enough things. We've had a great preview pod of what we think is going to happen this season for awards. We talked a little bit about the Tokyo series, a little bit about the Astros City Connects. So I think that's a good time to wrap up. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in to the show tonight. We really do appreciate it. Also, thank you to our new subscribers on YouTube. We are up to that magical number of 69 subscribers on YouTube.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone, for that. We appreciate it. Not that we don't want more, but please subscribe. We would really appreciate that. And then also, too, remember, if you don't want to really look at us and talk, or look at us on the screen, you can always just listen to us on Apple Podcasts. We would really appreciate a 5-star review on there as well. That really helps the show. It helps boost our numbers and who can see us. So thank you, everyone, again. We really appreciate the support, and we are looking forward to the 2025 season starting on Thursday. Thanks, and have a great night.